Zoleka Mandela's memorial service is currently underway at the Mandela family home in Soweto. Let's cross now live to SABC News senior reporter Chriselda. Chriselda, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Just talk to us about what is currently happening outside the home and inside, of course, and when the service is likely to start.
Well, Unati, friends and family have already started arriving here at the Mandela home. This is in Soweto, as we expect the memorial service for Zoleka Mandela to get underway this afternoon. Close family and friends, as you can see here behind me, we're broadcasting live inside the yard, and this is where the family, friends and those who are very close will be paying tribute to her. You would know that she was a renowned author, as well as activists, in particular relating to cancer, losing this battle to cancer after such a long fight. Just looking at a lot of the tributes that have been paid to her over the past couple of days, many people remembering her resilience, the fight that she had within her, and even when times were tough, when you could see that, the battle, against cancer, which she'd fought for so long, others would say was getting the best of her. It certainly wasn't, because even those who worked very closely with her in organizations, deal with cancer patients, often said that, they were always, overwhelmed by the manner in which, she dealt with her illness and how she continued to inspire others despite, her own issues that she was having pertaining to her health. I don't want to be too much long with that introduction. I want to bring in Mamu Zwane, just to talk to us. Mamzota Zwane, who you would know was a PA to Mamu Chriselda Mandela, and Mama, thank you so much for allowing us to speak to you this afternoon.
Good afternoon to your viewers.
Yeah, indeed a sad loss, Mamu Zwane.
Yes. It really is a sad loss, and it actually brings back, what we've been through since 2018 and the passing of Usizinzi and now of Zoleka, but really Zoleka suffered. I actually remembered when she was diagnosed with cancer, but strong. She was very strong. She was a very strong person, and I remember that Ukoko was very, very worried, and it's just one of those days where you saw the tear dropping down Mrs. Mandela's face, because she never used to cry, but on that day she did. And she made it a point that all the time she was next to her. So you could see the pain, but Zoleka was very, very strong. And I think it's one of the things that at some point, made the family understand even cancer, because more than anything, Zoleka understood her disease. She did. And I think she was one of those patients that asked more questions so that she could teach the others, I remember when my brother suffered with cancer as well, I said, I wish he could just sit with Zoleka and let Zoleka tell her, how to treat this, because she had so many cancer diseases, but she was able to be strong, and be strong for everybody for that matter.
Mamzotwa, these are children that grew up right in front of you, It's so painful for the family, painful for you, painful for those who were very close. Talk to us about, this dynamic young lady, who's been through so much, but still had that fighting spirit within her. What she was like in front of you as elders.
Yes. Zoleka was a very loving person. Zoleka was very loving. And if Zoleka Tanda, you would feel it. You would actually feel her presence. And as for me, she called me Auntie Love. That's the only person that called me that. I've never heard of anybody that has been called Auntie Love. But every time she said that, you'd actually feel her love. So she was a fighter in everything. She stood her ground. If there's anything that she did not like, Zoleka would not push around. She would just tell you straight away, this is what I don't like this, and that will be it. But, Zoleka loved her family. If there's one thing with Zoleka loved her family. But with her children, it's something else. To be honest with you, as I was praying this morning, I said one of the most difficult things for this family is to look after Zoleka's children. Because she gave them that love that I don't think anybody else can be able to. But we honestly believe that God doesn't just take somebody, there'll always be somebody in that person's place. So for that reason, we believe that somebody will be able to do what she did for her kids, because she made it a point that her kids were okay.
I mean, there's been so much loss, as you've already indicated, so close to each other. How would this was someone who found her voice outside. Yes, she was born into a family of strong people, of people who were able to fight for what is right. But she grew her own voice.
Yes.
That's part of what you saw.
Zoleka honestly was strong herself, was a very strong person. And in fact, her fighting spirit and the strength is Mama's. I know Susan's was just as strong. However, Zoleka's strength was something else. And she was able to, in her own space, she would be able to talk about just herself, not being a Zoleka Mandela. She would be able to be able to, whenever she's with people, and understand what other people are going through, especially those that suffered from cancer, and especially those that had family members that got involved in an accident, which is one of the things. I mean, she became an ambassador of traffic because her child died in an accident. And you could see that pain. But one of the strengths, Zoleka's strengths, is that whatever pain she went through, she used it as a step ladder to go up. So she would make it a point that, problematic as it is, or being whatever problem it is, she would make it a point that out of it, she teaches people about it.
Ma'am Zodwa, I'm not going to keep you much longer. Thank you very much indeed. Sabolela, ma'am. And condolences once again to everyone. Ma'am Zodwa Zwane was a former PA to the late Mamu Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and you can see these are some of the close relatives who have also arrived here at the Mandela family home. This is, of course, in Soweto. This was the home of Mamu Winnie Madikizela Mandela. And as Mamu Zodwa Zwane talks about it, is that, Zoleka Mandela and the other children are those, who grew up very closely with her, and they say that she was someone who found her voice, her own voice, and was able to share a lot of who she was with others. So we're going to leave it here for now. This is, of course, more family members arrive here at the family home in Soweto, and this is where the memorial service is going to take place today. We're expecting dignitaries, family members, some politicians that we also saw an MEC as well in the Gauteng provincial government. Faith Mazibuko was also here and had gone up inside just a few moments ago. So we're expecting, this memorial service to get underway. And of course, the funeral will be private for those who may not have, got a sense of that information. Is that the funeral service itself will take place tomorrow, and this will be at the Bryanston Methodist Church. But that is going to be a private ceremony. The burial itself will also be a very private ceremony as well. So this is part of just the proceedings that we would be able to bring for you, but the memorial service itself will be streamed live online. But more family members arriving at this particular time at the Mandela family home. This, of course, in preparation for the memorial service of Zoleka Mandela, who is an author in her own right. And perhaps we could also bring in, I also see here, good afternoon. Good afternoon. You can also see as well more of the mourners coming through. Tutu Zuma also just arriving here at the family home to come and pay tribute as well. All right, we'll leave it here for now, and we'll come back to you just once more of the mourners, government dignitaries and others arrive here at the family home. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Chriselda Lewis. Of course, Chriselda Lewis outside there at the Mandela home in Soweto, where the memorial service for the late Zoleka Mandela is about to take place. Of course, yesterday there was also a farewell ceremony at the Mandela home in Soweto that was held for the late Zoleka Mandela. Of course, Zoleka Mandela also planned some of the ceremonies and commemorations that will be unfolding over the next couple of days. In fact, also calling for that private funeral that will be taking place later this week.